on a dimensional level that is greater than what we talk about in our societies, in our particular time and place. This is what the eternal truth is, and that we are needing to really understand that we are one earth, all beings on this planet, including the ocean, the air, all the elements, harmonize together, and we need to be cognizant that this is not human species-ism, like racism.
Right.
This is really just one idea, and that we are all individuals playing a magnificent part. The universal force flows through us, and we are the eyes, the mouth, the hands, the heart of the great creator. So we are co-creators, and this is really just restoring that idea that even if somebody wonderfully wise said something, it is up to you to interpret it in your life.
Right.
And you need to listen to your heart. And to me, that's what it is. It's really just taking a look at reality from the point of view of personal responsibility and driving forward, creating the idea that you are to be the change that you wish to see in the world.
Unfortunately, our egos get in the way, and that interferes with that path. And we don't listen from the heart.
That happens a lot of times.
We
Not
don't
just
listen
in
from the heart.
witchcraft, but in everything.
Right, in everything.
Yeah.
You know, but before I ask you guys how you each got involved in witchcraft, something just popped into my head. Famous witches. Do we know any like stars that practice witchcraft? Could you guys throw some names out at us? I think people would love to know about that.
Sybil Shepherd's a witch.
Okay.
Rumor has a Nicolas Cage too.
I've heard that.
Yeah.
I've heard that. Anybody else?
Actually, the lead singer from Godsmack,
Oh yeah.
Sully,
great.
he's Wiccan, and actually studied with my teacher, Laurie Cabot.
Oh really?
Yeah, he's a third degree.
Interesting.
Well, there are many famous prophets that have departed from the rigorous construct of their religions and have done miracles. So,
All right.
Yeah.
Well, how did you guys become involved in witchcraft? How did you know you wanted to be a witch? What drew you to it?
I think it started really when I was about 8 years old.
Really, that young?
Yeah, I would talk to my dead grandfather, and I'd ask him to do things for me, like little things.
Oh, you're like one of those freaks like me.
I was one of those freaks like you. See, I told you we had a lot in common, right?
Right.
And it wasn't until I was about 16 that I started rebelling against Catholicism, like all good Catholic girls eventually do, and started reading about witchcraft and said, oh, that there's a religion that encompasses what I already believe, the belief in spirits and magic and the concept of reincarnation and harmonizing with the earth. And I really took it up when I was about 20 and started noticing that the natural psychic abilities I already had became very, very sharp when I was practicing on a regular basis. And shortly thereafter, I met my first grove, which is another term for a coven, and my high priestess who started my training. So and that was about, been on the path seriously for about 8 years now.
Oh, nice. And you, Mark?
Well, I actually was always, driven to the paranormal. My mom actually was a witch, so I'd watch her light candles and incense in the kitchen. I actually took it to the next level, though. And
Well, I know you're very into candle magic.
Yes.
Okay. We could talk about that later.
But my first experience, I was 4. And as you said, I saw my grandfather, which I've never met. He passed on before I was born. And he was at the foot of my bed. And it was almost like transparent that I could see. I had the television on, because when I was small, I always had to have a TV on in the room with me. Yeah. I ran out of bed, and I told my mom, there's a man in the room. So, of course, she runs in to check. There was nobody there. I explained what the man looked like, and it was her dad who passed away when she was 9.
Wow.
And then at 14, I started reading tarot cards. And then at 18, I actually got into witchcraft.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you've been doing
it was a progression. But to me, as witches, we're meant. It's in our blood. It's in our drive.
So you felt the calling to it.
Absolutely.
Right.
That's another thing. I mean, are you born with it?
It's like I said before, it's just...
let me just finish. Because I want to know if you were born with it, because, you guys teach it. Obviously people come to you who probably aren't born with it. Can they learn it?
Yes.
You can learn it like, anybody can learn about different religions. You can come take classes. There's definitely people that are just born with the gift. You know, there's other people that can develop it as well, you know, by learning.
That's the same thing goes with psychic ability, because I
Yes.
know I train people and I teach
Right.
them how to channel and I teach
Right.
them how to do healing. So
Yep.
It's the exact same thing. I've never met someone who is completely cut off from their psychic or their magical ability. They either have something, even if it's a little bit, or they're lying and they have something and they're saying they don't.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, it exists in each person, just like the ability to sing. Some people are born, like you said, with incredible gifts, and some people need a little more training and coaxing. But anyone with enough training and focus and dedication could get the job done.
Okay. And how did you start out, Gloria?
Well, I like the idea. There's a saying, in perfect love and in perfect trust,
Okay.
I pass this kiss. And that was just a wonderful idea for me, that there should be a sacred space. And it starts small, perhaps, with yourself, and then you extend it out into the universe. That there needs to be a different way to walk this path. And the idea of love, the idea of peace, the idea of harmony and balance. I've studied Feng Shui, I studied Buddhism. It's all one thing. So whether you call it using your wits or I call it common sense, you need to measure whatever somebody is telling you into your own heart and see if it works for you. There are many stories, common wisdom stories about somebody looking for truth, and they ask one person and they say what the truth is for them, and if you follow their truth, it may not work for you. So be guided by your heart. And I think what started me on my path was my mother would always tell me, whatever a human being created as any kind of religion is through the filter of that human being at that time, well-intentioned as it may be. But you need to really take a look for yourself of what is being a good person. If you are a good person and you measure that, that's the only thing you need to do to lead a good life.
Okay.
So that's really what it was. It's just be a good person and not necessarily following anybody else's dictates.
I like that.
Yeah.
So tell me about your classes. What can somebody expect to learn from you in your class?
Well, if you take my class, basically we start from A to Z. I start out very basic in my Witchcraft 1. We do herbs, oils, incense. Like you said, I'm very heavily into candle magic.
I do a lot of candle magic myself.
Yeah.
Well, not a lot, not as much as I should, but
Right. Well, that to me, candle magic is the core. You know, that's our direct connection. We have all the elements in that
Right.
earth, air, fire, and water, and we can basically focus our intent into that candle wax. You know, it's not the candle per se that's doing it; it's the tool in our
Right,
focus.
it's the intent.
You know.
And I believe the candle's a direct link to the spirit world. So
I believe, you know, when I look at the flame, in my mind, I'm doing a projection that flame is being driven by the universe. You know, so that's what I focus on. And then all day long, you know, when I walk by that flame, it reminds me in my subconscious of what I'm trying to accomplish, the goal that I want. So like in my classes, I'll teach people how to visualize. I teach people how to go into alpha and become more psychic.
okay, I like that.
Yeah, how to lower our brain waves from beta to alpha. You know, by doing a countdown from 7 to 1 in different colors. And then what that will do is, you know, that opens our brain waves up, opens our subconscious mind so we can do healings. Because healings are very big also in witchcraft.
Yes.
That's something I'm known for the healing.
Right.
So I like that you guys, you know.
Yeah,
go with
healings are a
different
big
healing.
part of witchcraft. And, you know, we can do psychic counseling through alpha to pull in different information. The only thing I basically need from somebody is when I go into alpha, their full name, their age, and their whereabouts. And then you start getting the mental image in your mind. And it just pulls things in. Like you said, with the different pictures in the tarot cards.
Sure.
You know, every witch and every psychic can interpret something different.
That's
you know,
right.
it's a common thread. It's mythology. You know, it's
Sure.
what we're all looking into. But we all have that connection. So even in my tarot classes, I say take the book and throw it out.
Exactly.
I love that.
Thank you.
It's like when
I tell people the same thing when I teach aura classes. I tell them, don't even look at the book. The book
Right.
is a bunch
Right.
of baloney.
Exactly.
Because they tell you red is this and blue is that. It's a bunch of baloney.
Yeah.
It's the person reading the aura. It's what you interpret from that
Exactly.
person.
Right.
So I love that you said that.
Thank you.
It's the same as
you're
going.
channeling.
It's the same as going through an art museum and taking a look at what
Exactly.
what does that painting mean to you? What do these colors mean to you? So it's really just putting it